not been, I think, more robust than computers in general. And one of the problems has been that quite a lot of the computers has broken down. And they have a support model in Sri Lanka, but I think one problem, if one computer breaks down, they have to send it in to China. It's, as many other things, it's produced in China. And if there is like a screen broken on a computer, it can be like 1 or 2 months before it comes back. So that's another thing, I think, that to have a support model, not only for hardware and also for software. But in general here, a very positive findings, really, I must say, which makes me very glad. And the implication for the target population in these visited schools here. So I think, as for e-learning in general, that it depends on the background and the commitment of the teachers. That some teachers found the new technology to be time-consuming, and I think that is often the case if you don't have a basic knowledge about computers. But if you get to know a little bit about the computers, this new technology really can change the way of teaching. So if it is time-consuming in the beginning, it can be something that saves time later. And also that I think that in these poor and isolated rural regions, and all the schools, these 13 schools in Sri Lanka, are located in quite poor regions and isolated regions. So I think there you can have this very positive effect that it brings in energy. And some of the teachers, this is from the Blackwood School, they said that this is actually the first time in many years that we got any new technology to this school. But if you compare, I have a colleague and a friend. He works as a guest researcher now in Sweden. He comes from Colombo, the capital in Sri Lanka. And as an experiment, we gave one of these Excel computers to his son. And he played with it during one weekend. But then he said that, Dad, I want to have my PC back, because on a PC you can, there are more games and I can do more things. So I'm not so convinced that this will work for a middle-class audience in urban areas. But I think in rural regions you can have this positive effect. Okay, I only have 7 minutes here, so maybe we should take a look at challenges and opportunities then. This picture is from the Palmunai school on the east coast, in a Muslim region. And I think one thing there is that the teachers said that for the very first time in this school, some kids came to us and said that mathematics is something fun. And I think there is something that is really interesting, because I think what is a global thing now is that kids are getting better and better at languages, especially the English language, but the interest for mathematics has gone down. I think it's in very many countries. So I think if you could do something with computers to get mathematics more interesting, I think it's really a great thing. But if I start with this, I think a support model. They have a support model in Sri Lanka, but they need to improve it. And that it should be both for software and hardware, because this technique, as many other techniques, of course you have problems, and all the computers will not go on working for forever, and software also needs maintenance. And this, I think, to do what is quite good for the moment, even better, is that to make the content more flexible and updatable. Because if you get the kids interesting to do these exercises, they do them and they do them again. And then they come to the teacher and say, I've done all the exercises. Is there anything more? And then you have to contact through this support organization and talk to the Ministry of Education and a lot. But I think what could be something is that if you could make the content more flexible so that the teachers could go in and update. If you have simple things like quizzes, that the teachers could be able to add new questions. It's not too hard to do, but I think that would really be an improvement. And internet access. In the Sri Lankan model, the internet is not there. But I think to be able to get more content and also to share content with other schools. So if you have different regions with different languages, which is even more the case here in India, or as an example, if these Tamil areas in Tamil areas in Sri Lanka could share content with schools in Tamil Nadu. And I think that is quite hard without internet. So content sharing, and also the idea to have some kind of national learning object repository, which was the plan from the beginning. But the learning object repository is not there yet. And I think with curriculum integration, that it works quite good, but I think to have this in the long run and to really to get good results, it needs a little bit more planning to integrate it in curricula. But at this school, the Palmonai school, I was really surprised that the first thing that happened was that the principal, he took one of this computer and he spent all the time with it during 2 or 3 weeks, really to see that are there any possibilities to use these computers in this school. And I think that is the reason why this particular school has been so successful. Because in other places that the principal said that, well, this is kind of new technology, we can try it, but they really didn't have the interest for it. So curriculum integration, and also what we discussed with the teacher in this school, that to build some kind of more edu-games, and not at least for mathematics, and to make education fun, which I think is a great possibility with these computers. Okay, I think my 7 minutes are gone now, and I don't know with questions if we should save them for later, and if someone is interested, we could also have lunch and discuss. So I'd like to thank you for your attention. And